What's up, ACL Nation? Happy 2024. ACL Live is back. I know you guys they've been missing it, Bernie. People have been begging me, hey, how come you're not doing
But
a list? How come you're
but
not
by
doing this?
the way, before we get started, I have to say this. It's a backhanded compliment and insult to Wally at the same time. This wasn't on the schedule, ladies and gentlemen. This tonight was not on the schedule. This is all Wally Castler.
My
All
people
Wally.
needed
Because
me.
he
They need
loves you so much that he made sure we did a show tonight.
Yeah. I got a performance review tomorrow, so I figure I'd just go ahead and go extra credit today.
I mean, I may or may not have wanted to watch the national championship game. I'm just saying, but I'd rather be here with you guys because Wally said so.
All right, so let's get into that. Who are you rooting for? Who are you going
I
for?
don't care. I'm a college football nerd, man. I don't
You
care.
just want a good
I
game?
would love a good game, yeah. But Michigan scored first possession. I haven't seen anything since, so I don't know.
Oh, you gotta have like a little TV up off to the side or something, man.
I had my phone going, but I knew I'd be doing this the whole time instead of paying attention to you, so I
That's
decided to
fine,
put that
man.
away.
We're gonna have 3 viewers today because of this college game anyway. Yeah, I'm stuck because I have a husky, so I could be rooting for the Huskies, and I got all the
Oh,
Michigan friends,
okay,
and they bleed blue,
sure,
so I don't know.
yeah.
I'm not gonna watch it.
Great
I'm not
Lakes,
gonna watch
stand
a
up.
minute of it. I got I think it's 4 interviews for Bagging and Bragging tomorrow. We're kind of switching our format, so we got Bagging and Bragging 2.0 now, where we're basically pre-recording the interviews, and we have like a library, so we can maybe throw 2 of them at you or something like that
Yeah.
and just kind of mixing it up a little bit, not diving too deep, having a little bit more fun with it, playing games like Are You Smarter Than Fifth Grader, stuff like that. So we're doing some fun stuff. We got
I am
our
not good at
recording
that game.
tomorrow. Justin Duke wasn't either last week.
I am dumber
Uh,
than a fifth grader.
yeah, so I think we got 5 recordings tomorrow. Then we have to record for the show. I have 3 meetings tomorrow with live stream team, the performance review, and then we have our sales call bright and early. So I'll be on the phone from like
Is
8
that
in the
call happening
morning.
tomorrow?
I think it should. We haven't had one in like 3 weeks. So
I know. I was
yeah.
there last
So
week for like 15 minutes. I was like, oh, I guess no one's coming.
yeah. Well, I showed up early, and then I was there for like 3 minutes, and no one was there. So Trey was like, I hopped on,
Yeah.
nobody was there. I was like, okay, we all just missed each
What?
other.
Dude,
Then.
come on. I was there from like 9 to 9:10. Nobody
So
was there.
either way, I had nothing to talk about, but that's a nice
Right,
segue
me neither.
into if you guys are wanting to sponsor an open, we have
Yes.
plenty of sponsorship available opportunities. So basically, if you guys want to sponsor lead changes, you want to sponsor replays, you want to sponsor game 2, if you want to
Anything.
sponsor women's, seniors, whatever, we're gonna throw it all out there. We're gonna try and maximize the
Borderline. Bagging
exposure.
and
Yeah,
bragging. Whatever you want to sponsor.
yep. So we'll
See
we'll
us.
we'll be in touch. Get a hold of Bernie or myself for that. But yeah, we're here to talk about open number 7. We're gonna head out to Ohio, Spooky Nook. Gonna get back to our normal format after the amazing high school and college championships that we just had. So
How
I'm
about your
ready to
boy,
get
by
back
the way?
to it. Man,
How about your. Hey, man, did you
all
see
my
my
boys?
top 10 list? Did you see my top 10
I
list, by the way?
did, man. You basically took my entire message box and like took everybody off my team and put on there. You had Frank Verona, you had Hunter Thorne, you had
I
Dex.
didn't have Frank Verona, but I had a lot of
You
folks
guys,
on
you
there.
guys were you guys were talking about all of them. Though I was listening.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Ryan
man.
Trader making number 2. I was talking to him this last weekend. Dude, that
I mean,
kid is so good, man.
I saw some
So
people were like,
good.
well, he beat Mark. I was like, yeah. And like I said on the show, I was like, best out of 7, I'm still taking Mark.
Mark beat him too. If you want to get into, I mean, it's. I
Right.
think
Yeah.
I think it's 1-1 right now. But
Yeah.
either way, I was impressed with Ryan Trader. He's on
Out of his
pace
mind,
for I
bro.
think it's 75 career titles if he keeps up this pace.
How crazy is that? I mean, the kid is sick. How old is he, by the way? There's been some consternation about that. Like, how old is he?
13 or 14, I think 13.
Right?
Yeah,
Ryan, if you're watching, tell us how old you are. No one
I
seems
have
to
it.
know.
I mean, I asked him for. I have it. It's on the website. I built up a bio page. So,
Better
but
question. What
but
grade is he in? Like 8th grade, 9th grade now?
he-
9th grade, and he's
man, I
probably
don't
one
even.
of the
How old
5
Rory
best
is
players in the
13? That's
world.
what 8th grade, I
Ninth
think.
grade for me.
Yeah, call it.
Yeah.
But
Well, I
no,
was a summer baby.
I played in the regionalist last weekend, and I played against him 1-on-1, and I beat him 21 to
I saw
17.
that. I saw that score you
But
threw up.
but
He was
he was
playing
playing with
left-handed.
3 bags, and I was playing with 4, and I beat him 21-17. This kid is every single roll shot he hit was just like, okay, I can't push, and he knows that, so he just left it there, and he rolled over every single time. But it was fun, man. He's a beast. I'm proud of him. I'm proud of the whole Canine squad, and
So if you're over 40, do you have to throw a soft bag?
No, I don't think so. I mean,
It seems like everybody over 40 can't push, can't really,
yeah,
doesn't have the velocity on their bag. Spin rates are lower. Yeah.
but
Anyway,
yeah.
I digress.
Yeah, we had a good time out there in Myrtle Beach. I don't know about you. I feel like January 1st is like the halftime show for us, and it's just getting ready to get ramped
I'm
up.
so different on that. I feel
Really?
like it's the beginning. I feel like it's the beginning. I feel like, I mean, and I know people hate the fact that I'm not as invested in the Opens as everyone else is. I think the Opens are amazing. I really do. I think they're great. I think they're actually more important now than they were, say, 2 years ago. But I think the real season, quote unquote, begins when we have our first, pro series, national, however you want to put it. I think that's when we really see, especially the top pros playing at their best. Like I was paying attention a little bit this weekend, watching some of the top pros, and it looked like they were practicing, not playing. And that's a difference, right? Everyone else is giving you everything they've got. I was watching Mark Richards throw like level 1 blocks. He was doing all this stuff that was a little different. He's literally practicing. It reminded me, first golf analogy of the night, of when Tiger Woods in his prime would play the other tournaments before the majors, and he would literally play, Bay Hill like he was playing Augusta. And people are like, why is he hitting it over there? Well, he's playing Augusta while he's playing in a real tournament, right? So he's literally practicing in a real tournament. But it seemed like I saw some of that, which was kind of interesting to me, to be honest. But I can get off the rails, Wally, if you don't rein me in.
I'm right there.
That's off the rails number one for the night.
I think we both kind of just want to start the year off with a survival mode. We're just going to get through this show. We're going to take peeks at the college score every now and then, and we're going to interact with chat a little bit. So let's go ahead and take our first commercial break. When we come back, we're going to get into Bernie's 5 singles players, my 5 singles players, and we're going to hop over to doubles. So take a quick break, chat. Be with you guys in just a little bit.
Hold on. I know we're welcoming everybody back. We have our first segment to do. I saw Cameron Belvin is watching. She's in the chat. Noah is at the national championship game. This goes out to the ladies in the audience, and I know you're watching. I've seen a few of you are already watching. Is that okay?
Why wouldn't it be?
The baby's not that new. The baby's not that new. Come on now. I'm sure
Cameron gets to have fun. She gets to have fun.
When does she get to have fun? She's sitting there right now going through it. Oh, come on, man. Ladies, I'm with you. I think it's too early.
She probably went skydiving yesterday for all we know. They don't have to post their life for us all the time.
All right. I had to throw it out there.
All right, welcome back.
How old's the baby, by the way, Cameron?
A month.
Let us know. Yeah. Is that too early? I don't know.
We got some.
I
We got
mean,
some people in the chat.
I'm
I'm actually kind of
jealous.
surprised. We got like 80 viewers right now. Let's go. It's the
Way to
most we've
go.
had all year.
Heyo.
We got Gavin. Yes, Gavin. We're gonna play some Warzone today. Maureen's got her Wizard L's. Bernie, you won some bags for me. You can start throwing this year.
I am actually.
Let's
I'm
go.
going to throw. I'm going to throw a little bit on the side to where I can get. Look, people. I joke around. I'm not that bad. I'm not good, but I'm not that bad, and I'm going
Let's
to get
go.
confident. I'm going to get
Intermediate
confident.
champ coming soon. All right, let's talk
Sure.
about
Why
the
not?
players that are good. Let's go ahead and get into your singles.
Yes, sir. Number one, I thought Joe Neistat had a pretty good weekend in Myrtle Beach, which I think matters. I think you talked about it's kind of the halfway point. I think it's the kickoff to the pro season in a way. I think it was good. I think it's a player that needed it. A lot of the players you're going to see on my list, I think, need a big weekend or just had one. So I think Joe Neistat having a good weekend, making a nice run, I think that's good for his confidence. He's a player. He's a top 10, top 15 talent from the last two seasons. I think needs some good things to happen. So how does he follow up a good showing in Myrtle Beach? That's why I'm paying attention to Joe Neistat this week.
Yeah, Joe Neistat basically just ran into the Cinderella story that was Hayden Gonzalez this last week. And I mean,
Yeah.
Hayden
What?
Gonzalez, he basically showed why we all play. The pros, they play because they
Sure.
win. We all play because we want that moment to shine. And Hayden Gonzalez brought it against Joe Neistat. Joe Neistat still hit one of the nastiest shots, which could be the shot of the year
Yes.
with that and one collect. You guys will see that on the show this Wednesday when we do replays. But I mean, Joe Neistat, he looks to be back to form. I think going back to Titan, he kind of had that learning curve with the bags again. It
Mm-hmm.
looked like in Myrtle Beach that learning curve is back to where it needs to be. He's on track. So, yeah, okay, let's look at for him.
Other side of the coin, Justin Burton Jr., where are you at? I know I'm probably wanting too much. This time last year, Justin Burton Jr., everybody's favorite player, right? I mean, he was just this guy. He's bursting on the scene. Who are these young players out of Texas, blah, 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 all that stuff. Was it too early to get that fired up over Justin Burton Jr.? Look, I still think he's an amazing talent. I still think that the arm and the bag talent are insane. I think he needs a good week sooner or later. What do you think?
I think there's basically this off season, and you kind of talked about when the season actually starts
Yeah.
for some of these pros. And I feel like
Mm-hmm.
Justin Burton Jr. and Logan Chamber are just kind of kicking it. They're
I
chilling, they're
agree.
going through the motions. They don't really have that competitive edge going right now. They're
I
mixing their
agree.
partners up with who they're going to throw around with. I think once we get to that pro season in April, it'll probably come back. But I agree with you. I have been
I,
expecting to see Justin Burton Jr. from last year this year, and I haven't seen it yet.
I don't have a problem with that necessarily. And even though I just made the comment that I'm not as wild over the open season as everyone else, but show me you're working on something. Just don't
Yeah.
show me you're losing. You know what I mean? Does that make any sense? It's like, yeah, I understand you maybe haven't kicked it into high gear, but considering the depth of talent that surrounds you, trying to turn it on late in the season or, whenever that starts to happen, April, that's hard. That's hard to do considering the talent around you. Now, I'm not saying it can't be done. I'm just saying it's very difficult.
All right.
So I just think it's a player that needs a good week sooner or later, whether in one of our opens. Now, what he's doing in his blind draws, what he's doing at home, I'm not really sure. He could be killing it, and he's sitting at home right now, flipping a bird at me, saying you don't pay enough attention, blah blah blah. I'm just saying on a national scale, I think the kid needs a good week sooner or later. Number three, Ryan Windsor, going back on the other side of the coin. I think this is a guy that's really working on his game, getting better and better, and could do some serious damage when we get into the Pro Series. I think he's building to that. I really do. I think we could see a major jump this year from Ryan Windsor back to the elite of the game.
Well, yeah, I think that the interesting thing for me watching Ryan Windsor this year there's two things. One is Ryan Windsor had a lot of success so far with the Wolverines. He's thrown the kill shot Wolverines, had a lot of success. Now he's throwing the Phantoms, and he's having a lot of success with the Phantoms too. So basically, that tells me he's got two bags in his arsenal that he can break out depending on the board conditions and still play at an upper echelon level of talent that most people can't touch. So depending on what the Pro Series events look like, Ryan Windsor could adjust. The other thing is the only thing he hasn't adjusted to is the foot foul rule. TikTok was going absolutely crazy when it was Ryan Trader versus Ryan Windsor. And I'm telling you, I broke it down a couple times so you guys can see it. Ryan Windsor is barely lifting up that back foot, which is a violation. It doesn't come into a factor at these opens, but will it become a factor at the national? That's something to keep an eye on. I know he practices, though.
Yeah, at first broadcast, if he's doing it, he's going to, because there will be officials there. Now, obviously, we're not in the position yet to have 150 officials running around to watch each court. But, once that's an interesting point. Does that become an issue? By the way, number 4, we're back on the other side of the coin with Jamie Graham. Probably more like Justin Burton Jr., like you're saying, a guy that's working on his game, hasn't really turned it on yet, kind of waiting for the Pro Series to begin, hopefully. But, I feel like I need to see more. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. I mean, Jamie did, have a rough beginning to last season and then obviously wins the World Championships, tells everybody to stick it, right? But I would love to see more out of a player that's that talented, because you can't argue the bag talent. You just can't. It's in your face. So you want to see better results. And maybe because I know him better, I want to see more. I don't know.
Yeah, I've been seeing Jamie trying to improve himself, outside of cornhole as well. And that sometimes takes a factor. It takes away. I mean, let's face it. There's only so many hours in a day. If you're not practicing cornhole, you're practicing working on yourself. Jamie's trying to do everything. He could just be getting exhausted. I mean, at the same time, we still got a long time until anything really matters for Jamie Graham. But
I agree.
I mean, you got the bag switch going on. You got a lot of things that are factoring in. I see him working out. I mean, when I work out, my arms are tired. I can barely get the bag there. So that might be a factor too. But I think he'll be fine. I think we all think he'll be fine. Yeah,
let me ask you. I just had the thought. Oh my God, Wally! It went right through my brain and left. Don't get older, kids. Stay the same age. Keep your brains active. Man, I'm going to come back to that because it was a really good point that literally just vanished into thin air.
All right, Bernie. Yes.
Number 5, Kimberly Glass. There's an argument to be made that at the end of last season, Kimberly Glass was the second best female player. I haven't seen her play much this season. As someone that is older, she's not one of the younger ladies in the game, but she proved at the end of last season. I mean, obviously Cheyenne's the elephant in the room in the women's game, but after that, there is kind of a log jam somewhere in there. And I thought Kimberly kind of made a case that maybe I'm the second best player in the world, besides Cheyenne. I haven't seen much of her this season. Is she still that player? Does she come back with that same fire? I think we saw someone that was truly, truly motivated to be the best she could be. Do we get that same player? And I'm just curious to watch him this weekend. Is she going to show us some of that, or is she just going to kind of round into shape like we've talked about some of these other players?
Yeah, Kimberly Glass, no doubt, elevated her game, got a lot of broadcast experience last year, so I expect big things again this year. I mean, the female division as a whole, we're done with this 6, maybe 7 females that can compete now. We're up to 12, 13, 14, 15. 15 ladies. There's still obviously the one at the very top that's so far ahead of everybody else. But Kimberly Glass is somebody that could definitely go on a heater, make a name for herself. And she's playing close to home this weekend, so we'll see how she does.
Yeah, and look, 2 of the top, I would say 3 females of the last couple of years, Cheyenne, and then you got Cameron, have to deal with being a mother now. Right? I mean, Cheyenne hasn't had the baby yet, but Cameron has. I mean, not only have you given birth, now you have to deal with being tired. It's not the same. Dealing with young children is very different, very difficult. And I'm curious to see how they handle that. And then some of these other ladies, like a Rosie Streaker, who's had some surgery, who's had some, physical issues, a Sam Finley, who, doesn't have any of those issues. Of course, she has her own business on the side, doing all of that. So who is it that's going to step into that void?
Yeah,
is Kimberly Glass one of those people?
I just hope that the rest of the female division catches up to these ladies rather than these ladies having issues going on and coming back down. I did see her hop in the chat. I want to give a shout out to Kiara Peterson. She is, she'll be throwing this weekend too. I had her on my list, but I couldn't put her back in my list of players to watch out for. But her and Jaden throwing together, that should be fun. Johnny Torres in the chat says, "You're only as old as you feel." So that's not good for either one of us, Bernie.
Yeah, no doubt.
We're going to take a quick 2-minute nap. When we come back, chat, we're going to dive into my singles right after this. right, chat. Welcome back. Cameron in the chat says the hardest part's going to be getting back into it mentally. I agree.
Mm-hmm.
It's always hard to keep your focus whenever you got somebody there that you're supposed to be, taking care of, or that you worry about nonstop. I mean,
Yeah.
I'll never forget the first few years of my daughter's life. By the way, shout out to Jade. Her birthday's tomorrow. She'll be 17. Happy birthday,
17.
kiddo. But yeah, I was just nonstop. I mean, I was going in the room, like putting my finger up to her nose, making sure she's still breathing, like type of nervous. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's always rough with the first one.
Dude, there's a reason why I never had kids. I would either be, I would have been the most nervous Nelly person ever. I couldn't have, I would have been the worst,
Man.
worst ever.
It
Seriously.
might have solved your fidgeting issue, though. I'll tell you that
Are
much.
you kidding me? I've been tossing the baby around, just cleaning it all the time.
All right, let's take a look at my singles. I that's one thing I love about doing these on Mondays is that I make my list and I go do something else and I come back. I'm like, who do I have on my list? So we'll figure it out together, Chad. Here's who I got. All right. Number one on my list, Austin Cameron, rookie pro this year, came into the season with a lot of hype. Had a little bit of a mental struggle there at the beginning of the year. I'm not sure if he's fixed his throw yet or not. It's actually kind of sad that I haven't been able to travel all these opens because I don't get to see all these players like I did last year.
Yeah.
And I'm having a lot of FOMO. And Austin Cameron's one I definitely want to keep my eye on this year. And I haven't seen his name pop up yet whenever we're going deep in brackets. So I don't know if he's just having a early tough round matchup or if he's just not doing very well. But I'm going to keep a close eye on Austin Cameron this year. I know the talent's there. He's definitely got the skill set. I want to see if he can put together a whole tournament. And I'm going to be keeping an eye on him. He's played in this building before. He knows what to do.
Well, certain players have come from different organizations and played very well in the ACL, right?
Mm-hmm.
We can go down a pretty long list of that. Others haven't. Is there an adjustment period there? Just the deeper fields. Is that part of the adjustment, or is he trying to work on something? I don't know. But he was a name I was expecting a lot of when I saw that he was coming over. I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know. Is it just, or, is he like everyone else? Hey, man, I'm waiting for the Pro Series, and then you're going to see who I am. Blah, blah, blah.
I think the other thing, too, that's kind of hard. I mean, you see a lot of these pros not really throwing with their pro doubles partner, but he's throwing Vincent Frisch this year. And Vincent Frisch is from California. Austin's from, I believe, Virginia. So that's two entirely different ends of the time zone spectrum. And it's just hard for them to get together. So you don't really have that communication. Hey, are you excited about this weekend? You ready to go? Let's get at it. So you're pretty much just coasting and waiting until something happens. And I don't know. I have to talk to Austin before I can get in his head a little bit, but I'm hoping he gets back to form soon before we get into this Pro Series.
Yeah.
Number two on my list, one of my dudes, Frank Verona, one of the best personalities I think that we have in the league, especially in the rookie division. He showed out this last weekend or whenever it was, Myrtle Beach, taking down his bracket. And I think the composure after the whole fire alarm thing and able to come back and finish out the bracket for a rookie, I think that's pretty impressive. That's something that goes, unspoken, is how he's able to handle these moments that are just, I mean, they're just weird. They're all, only Frank can come into situations like this and come out on top. So I liked what I saw out of him. He's got the bags working for him. He says they weren't really doing everything that he wanted to do on the main court, but I mean, it looked good. His cuts and everything was right where it needed to be. So hopefully Frank can back up Myrtle Beach.
By the way, that little break, what was that, 20 minutes?
Yeah.
Was just long enough to be a problem, I thought. Like, had it been an hour, everyone would have kind of gotten cold. Everyone would have had to reset. It would have been exactly the same for everybody. And I think that 20 minutes was just long enough for some people for it to be an issue. And for others, they were still kind of warm. They were still kind of feeling it. Does that make any sense? I was really interested and watched kind of from afar, like how that worked for some players. Because I could tell some are super frustrated, and I could tell others were like, it's only 20 minutes.
Yeah, it was actually the perfect amount of time for me to go back to the hotel, see if the jerseys came in, because they were supposed to get overnighted, and they did not, and then go back to the venue. So I didn't see how we went back into it. I actually expected the break to be longer.
Well, I think originally everyone thought it was. I mean, we could get into that another time, but you have to wait for the fire to come in. They have to say, oh, everything's okay, then you go back in, right? It's not really that.
Bottom line, don't vape in the building, please.
And there were a lot of people that said that's not what it was. That's actually exactly what it was. I actually heard the fire, like, that's exactly what fire said. So don't do it.
Maureen in the chat is asking for Cody Henderson. There you go. Number 3
there
on my list.
Is.
And I got Cody Henderson on here because I want to see how he responds to Adam Hissner winning. Birchfield. I want to
Mhm.
see if it's kind of like anything you can do, I can do better, or is it,
Mhm.
hey, good job, I'm still here, because Cody Henderson, he's good for the sport. Man.
Agreed.
We need that chirp in. He's a good player to basically show you what he's capable of without even practicing. I want to see what he does if he practices, and I want to know if he cares. We got in this question last year. Does Cody Henderson even care this year? And here we are another year later, and the same question remains in my head. Does Cody Henderson care? So hopefully we find out in Ohio.
You know what? I could not agree more. There's a couple players in my doubles, same kind of situation. Yes, you're there. Yes, you're playing, but do you really care? And I think Cody kind of falls into that category. Like, man, because like when he does the long arms and the hands out, and he starts chirping, and he get like the game needs that, man. It needs it. But is it, is enough going on in the game to keep him interested? I don't know. Is that I'm glad to see him back. That's all I can say. I love your Adam Hisner comment though. Does that motivate him?
Yeah. Number 4 on my list, Jimmy Humans. I don't know. Maybe it's just the FOMO, and I'm missing the tournaments. And Jimmy Humans helped me commentate so much last year, and I'm not getting my Jimmy Humans time. And he came up to us in Myrtle Beach and asked to get on the live broadcast. I'm like, this is something you never had to do last year. Like I would just put you on the live feeds last year, and
Yeah.
and this year I feel like I'm just really not seeing much out of Jimmy Humans, but it's not his fault. Like I'm just not seeing it. So I want to keep an eye on Jimmy Humans this weekend. I want to see how he's doing, what his form looks like. Is he ready to roll? He's kind of got the mentor role this year with Brady rather than, the sidekick with Kyle. I don't know who was the 1A, 1B in that relationship, but,
Right.
I feel like Jimmy should be playing with a chip on his shoulder and be a little bit more aggressive. And I want to see him, get back to that peak form. He's got, I believe, a broadcast streak going every year, right?
Wow. That's a really good point. We talk with the kids a lot, the young, the teenagers about, what will they be like in a couple of years when life starts to get in the way.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And I feel like a few of our 20-something pros are going through that as well. Like, outside life is starting to get in the way. Does that change your focus? We just talked about it with are things on the outside in the periphery of your world now taking center stage, and cornhole career has become the periphery? Do certain players go through that? And I wonder if Jimmy's going to go through something like that.
Yeah, hopefully he's able to balance it all. I mean, I know he's still working out on a regular basis, just lifting massive quantities.
Right. I mean, just huge amounts of weight.
Huge. Number 5 on my list, Quinn Reeves, up and coming player. If you don't know the name, you will very, very shortly. He is starting to play at an elite level. I saw him last weekend play against Ryan Windsor. I believe he took him down at Badgerland a couple months, November, whenever that was. And he's actually going deep in these brackets. He had a good run in Myrtle Beach as well. And I expect him to start traveling more, getting to play against these better talented players, which is going to only improve his game from here. So I want to see how high Quinn Reeves can go. Are you familiar with him at all?
Somewhat, not as much as you, but I will say that name is a great sports name. It's like you could throw that guy into Major League Baseball, NBA, Major NFL, and that name works.
Can't you see him just walking around with a jersey, like a football jersey, like just hanging out, but no pads underneath?
Honestly, I see him in spikes, playing second base or shortstop, just crushing it. That's what I see when I think of the name Quinn Reeves.
No, Quinn Reeves is my dude. He's gonna do very, very well. I saw Landon Crabtree had a I don't know if it was a joke or Quinn Reeves sponsor or whatever, but it was a Quinn Reeves t-shirt and had like a whole bunch of different pictures of Quinn Reeves' face. And I don't know if he knew about it. So I want one of those shirts, Quinn. If you're listening, man, give me one of those shirts and jerseys. I want to do some honorable mentions. I had some people on my list. Chase White, Caden Allen, Brandon Earls, Terry Mathis, and Craig Urban, players that I wanted to put on my list.
Yes.
I don't know if Craig Urban's going. I heard he had a family member pass away. So if that's the case, shout out to Craig Urban and the family. Thoughts and prayers with you guys. But I just want to give those other single players that I had on my radar a little shout out. That way, give you guys some names to look out for. So, all right, chat. Quick break. Who do we miss? Let us know who you missed in singles. We'll come back with doubles right after this. ACL Nation, welcome back. Another episode of ACL Live. We're getting ready to go into open number 7, Spooky Nook, Ohio. It's just fun to say Spooky Nook.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, that's the greatest name for a town ever, to be honest with you. What's their Halloween like? Their Halloween must be
Gotta be
insane.
good. It's got to be good. All right, 14-3, Michigan in the lead.
Yeah, I
There
thought
you go. No need to even watch it now, Bernie.
it's over.
It's over. All right, let's get into. How about the love for Steve Schrader in the chat right there? Everybody,
Dude's a driving machine, by the way. Dude is a truck driving machine.
He's a beast.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoy having Steve at all these tournaments. He's a good.
It's like shaking hands with sandpaper. Just old school man.
Yeah. It put a smile on your face, though. He's always laughing, telling jokes, poking at you. That's good stuff. All right, let's go with Bernie's doubles list.
Let's do it. By the way, I saw this person who jumped in. He's watching. Devin Harbaugh, Jeremiah Ellis. Jeremiah's been killing it. How about this Devin Harbaugh guy? Can we find out if he can play cornhole again? Can we see that? Is that cool? Can we get him playing at the elite level again? I know he's watching, so he's going to get mad at me for saying all this. Look, still probably my favorite player to watch. Now you're putting him with Jeremiah Ellis. Let me see it. I think they're a favorite, obviously, to win a bracket. Got to be one of the 5 favorites to win this thing, don't you think?
I mean, I love both these dudes, but there's always that one question. And when you're talking about both of them, Jeremiah said it last week, and I was like, I thought you threw great. You weren't really catching the breaks against Hayden Gonzalez. It just happened. But I was like, one of these days I'm going to finish one. Same question with Devin Harbaugh. When are they going to finish? I hope it's this one.
Yeah,
I had them on my number 1, and then I was like, well, I'm not putting them on my one if you got them on your one. So,
by the way, this is how overly opinionated I am and how much I think of my opinions. I was literally thinking to myself when I took Devin out of my top 10 on Borderline that he would be motivated by that. And I thought about it for a second. Like, I bet of the million things that might motivate him, that would be 999,999. Right? Like seriously. But anyway, come on, Devin. Need to see it. Number 2, after taking the last one, we got to have him up there again, right? I thought that was a great win. Adam Hissner, Trey Birchfield, old school Ohio. Where you at, man? I loved every second of that. It's fun. And you talked about Cody Henderson. Like, what does Cody think watching that? He had to know, right?
Yeah.
I just think that's what are they celebrating and just kind of sleepwalking through this weekend, or do they try to double it up? I don't know.
I don't know. I just want more of the Trey Birchfield. We got the final 5 or 6 rounds. Like, let's get vocal. All he says is, "Come on, let's go, come on." Like, it's just really quick words, but
I don't know, man.
A different vibe whenever Trey Birchfield gets vocal.
I don't know.
The switch.
I'm with you, but take me back to the robot days, man. Take me back to when that kid didn't say a word and just beat you with his play. Give me that guy.
I think he's at his best when he's chirping. And Adam Hissner,
Adam's going to make you chirp.
I did not really like this pairing in the offseason.
Yeah, I agree.
It was my first time to see it in person, and I liked what I saw.
I'm all about it. How about this one? Kentucky, stand up. Damon Dennis and Ryan Hart. I actually love this pairing. I'm serious. I love it. I really, really do. I'm saying that. Of course, they're going to go 0-2 and not score 10 points in either game. I love this pairing, Wally. I think this pairing goes deep in a bracket. This weekend. What are your thoughts on this?
I'm not with you on this one.
Okay. I love it.
I'm expecting a 3-2 out of them.
Okay.
I'm only because of bag choices. I just think Ryan would like to play with a little bit stickier bag. Damon Dennis is definitely not going to throw a stickier bag. The communication, I think, is going to be all like done through the eyes. Like Damon's going to like dad stare you down. Ryan Hart's going to be like, come on, I got you, or my bad, or something. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like.
You don't think Ryan's going to want to play really hard for Damon Dennis?
I think he will, but I mean, I think Ryan Hart's trying to play really good for himself. Like, I mean,
agreed, but you don't
last year in that shootout against Devin Harbaugh, took him down, and we all expected Ryan Hart to be, upper echelon player. He's close. He's still got some work to do. I love poking fun at the guy. Him and I are boys, but I mean, here he is. He's supposed to be the alpha in this Jeremiah Ellis relationship, and I feel like everybody's only talking about Jeremiah Ellis. So,
yeah, I thought you made the greatest comment ever about Ryan Hart last season while we were doing a live stream,
Yeah.
that he is the ACL professional. This is what the pro division is actually made of, not the 10 people that we talk about all the time, or 8 people. You know what I mean? I mean,
Yeah.
I thought it was a truly intelligent comment, and it's so true. I just think Kentucky guys have to look up to Damon Dennis a little bit, don't they?
Oh, I 100%. I mean, this is like, I don't know. This is getting to play with your idol. No
Right.
doubt about it. And everyone from Kentucky has to have this on their bucket list. I think it's the opposite though with Devin and you. Like Ryan Hart will come to the court with this chip on his shoulder to try and prove me wrong. Like the first match he wins on my life, he'll stare me down. I know it.
Yeah. Number 4, you talked about it in singles. If I can get these 2 guys focused, wanting to win, I think they can. And I know that sounds crazy considering, but they are still tremendous players. I just don't know if the focus level's there. I don't know if the care level is there. And it's hard to win in any sport, game, whatever you want to call it, if you don't care enough. And I hope that makes them mad, actually. There's other people I would rather not irritate. There's other people. I hope both of them are like, F Bernie Neighbors. He doesn't know what he's talking about. I hope it bothers them, because those 2 guys, when focused, are still elite players. I just haven't seen them focused, and I couldn't tell you how long.
Yeah, this is a sneaky, scary team. Josh Holland did give us a little bit of that. I don't care last weekend against Ryan Wiedenfeld on the broadcast court, and I hate to see that because I want the mentality of I'm down by a lot. I could hit a 9-point airmail at the World Championships and get the crowd going and get myself back into it. Duncan Clemmer to rub off on Josh Holland a little bit. I want him to think he's never out of the game.
Agreed. I just want the focus. I just want them to be like, you know what? We don't feel like losing this weekend. You're going to get 100% of us 100% of the time. And I don't know if we get that from those guys. I truly hope we do this weekend, because if we do, they're competing for a win, in my opinion. Number 5, the guys. I'm going to put them on every list this season until they win. Heard it here first.
Okay.
I think this. When you talk old school, you can't talk about, without the Guy family being involved. I mean, you've got the first face on the Mount Rushmore of the sport, and his son, who's hit some of the most iconic shots in the history of the game, playing together
for a reason.
Yeah, and now they're playing together again. Has the game passed them by? And I'm going to continue to ask that question, and I know it's going to make them angry, and I know they're going to get mad about it. But has it?
I was actually on the opposite side of you in this one as well, because I think Brett's coming back to form. I like what I'm seeing out of him. I know that they've been talking a lot about the hyper drip bags. I'm not sure if
I'm not saying it has. I'm asking the question if it has. I'm not saying it has. I'm asking the question.
I'm not sure if they're just trying to push a product or if they actually do like these bags, but I like what I'm seeing out of Brett right now, and it's getting him elevated back to the level he needs to be playing with his dad again. I like Matt and Brett thrown together. I think that they're hard to beat. They're going deep in brackets. It's kind of the same thing though. Is can they finish the field?
But let me ask you. Matt's going to be the PPR leader probably again. That would be for 3-4 straight seasons.
Probably, yeah.
To lead over an entire season with that statistic. But I think at the elite level of this game, you have to have more than 2 shots nowadays. But people will throw Mark Richards right back at your face when you say that. But I don't know. It's just a question. I'm curious because, like I said, I mean, it's the first face on the Mount Rushmore of the game, and then his son, who's been at that level as well, and who's hit some of the most iconic shots in the history of the game. They make deep runs in brackets, but they don't really win much anymore.
Yeah, well, neither one of them have to worry about their football team anymore in the playoffs, so they could focus only on bringing bags.
Ouch! That hurts.
Oh, man. Windsor and Trader going to be on a mission. Denny says that list is wrong. Guys won't be top 3 all year. Dang, Jordan. I don't know about that.
Once again, not saying these are top 5 finishers. I know people like to think that's what we're saying.
Yeah.
But these are the top 5 that I want to watch, and that's the reason why I put them on there. I want to watch. I want to see what they do because we know what their past is. What's their present?
Or future. All right, chat. final break before we head into my doubles. Let us know, who do you guys want to see on my list? Chances are I left them off. Be right back right after this. Welcome back, ACL Nation, you diehard cornhole fans. Instead of watching college championships, you're here with us.
Hey, by the way, you know what the hardest thing to do, what to learn when you do this is?
What's that?
Not pay attention to the chat when people start throwing little jabs at you, little sneaky, sneaky pokes.
Bring it on.
But I mean, you can't comment on all of them, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you can't because like that's the hardest thing to learn is like to let it go.
I mean, sometimes their insults are just lame though. Like every now and then, I'll be like, "Hey, well played, well played."
Right? No, I'll take a funny one. I'm all in on a funny one. Yeah. Like I'm good on a funny one. Yeah. But when it's just not really paying attention, it bothers me. But I let it go. That's the hardest part for me. I had to learn that. That is a learned thing because you know me. I'll argue with you.
You're right. I actually want to do a show, just like uncensored show, where we go live, we drink, we just hang out with chat,
down,
and go back.
100% down. I will need security after that whenever I go somewhere, but I am 100% down.
Hey, real quick, can we talk about Iowa? I feel like I'm just kidding.
I mean, we can.
Shout out to that. All right, let's get into.
I think we do that enough on borderline.
Let's get into my doubles to watch here at open number 7 as we head to Spooky Nook, Ohio. I believe it's Hamilton, Ohio. All right, number 1 on my list: Logan Hall and Juwan Smith. Logan Hall, one of the top players coming out of the Combine or Skills Challenge, whatever we called it. Juwan Smith shined very, very well also. And I like these two pairing up. I got a chance to watch them whenever I was out doing the Atlantic Conference live feeds, and I liked what I saw out of them. I think they both have that fire. Logan Hall, I believe, played Devin Harbaugh in a match, and I saw that fire. You know, you look at somebody's eye, you're kind of like, okay, I want to beat this guy. I want to beat Devin Harbaugh. He's the highest regarded player out in that area, and I love seeing it. I saw a lot of it.
Yes.
Jeremy Frazier, Ryan Trader. I mean, the list goes on of players who want to have that top-tier competition, and I think Logan Hall falls under that category. Juwan Smith, just a very unique grip, but awesome skills. I want to see what they can do here at open number 7.
I love that. I love when guys want to play the top guys. They have no fear. But I think what takes you to the next level is never overlooking people.
Mm-hmm.
And I know it's impossible. I mean, I know that everyone has that moment when they're like, let's say I'm Devin Harbaugh. I shouldn't lose to this person. I get that people think that way sometimes. But that's the hard part about getting to the elite status is you don't overlook people. You want okay, let's say they're not at your level. You want to beat them 21-0. You don't lose those games you shouldn't lose. And I think that's actually one of the tougher things to learn, in my opinion, than to get up for the best. And I'm not saying that to be argumentative. I actually believe that. I actually believe one of the harder things to do. You see it in every sport, right? You see teams like, oh, they can get up for a big game, but then you watch them play, some mediocre squad and they lose, and you're like, well, why'd that happen? They played so well last week against so and so, who's considered the best. And I think that's a skill that is very hard to master.
I was actually thinking about that this weekend because I got a chance to play comp singles and then I played open singles because of the timing. I could play in both tournaments, and I was like, man, I'm good enough to hang with anybody, but not good enough to beat anyone. Like,
right, 100%, 100%.
I could play against Gavin Cano and have confidence in my game, and I probably lose by a lot, but I feel like I threw well in that match. But then I'll go play somebody with the lesser skill set
that you don't even know. How about something like you don't even know? They just and they beat you, and it's like, well, wait a minute, I wasn't playing hard enough.
Yeah, I met a guy this last weekend, played him in the first round. I was throwing great. Met him in the first round. He destroyed me. Met him later on in the bracket, and I destroyed him. It was just like there's two different tales for Wally.
Right.
Number two, odd pairing for me. Fisher Hamilton and Gavin Cano. I don't think we've seen them together yet this year, have we? If so, it's only been like once.
I mean, look, do we get last season's Fisher and Gavin? Because if we do, they might win this weekend, or probably should win this weekend.
They are my pick to win the World Championship at the end of the season. Fisher is my pick to win singles. But I'm loving what I'm seeing out of Gavin in singles. And
Gavin, 100%.
Yeah, I love that they're actually getting back together. We're getting the band back together.
As
we're getting ready to head into the pro season. So we don't really need to spend too much time talking on them. We know they're elite. I want to see if they've had some fun. It's like you go out there and you see if the grass is greener on the other side or whatever people do whenever they mix their partners up. And I want to see if they could do it. Oh, he's in the chat right now, actually.
Hey, Wally.
Open number 2 and 1, he said. Okay.
Wally, number 3 and number 4 on your list, I left for you on purpose. I knew you would take both of those. Seriously. I knew, because I actually wanted to take number 3, but I knew you would take them. That's why I left them for you. That's awesome.
I actually didn't get a chance to watch Tanner because I was playing, and you and Kat were commentating on
that. I called a game. Yeah.
I want to see how Tanner and Jake do. Now, last weekend we got Tanner and Mark together. And we see it all the time where just because you have a big name, the chemistry might not be there. Things just might not click for you. I want to see how you actually do with your pro partner. I want to see how Jake throws the AAR bags. I want to see if their communication, their strategies there. I will definitely get them on the live feed at some point, and I want to watch their match very, very closely to see how this is going to shape up for the pro season.
I'm worried about it, to be honest, because they're both fiery guys. Tanner not as loud and not as boisterous as Jacob can be, but he's a fiery dude. Don't let that silence I mean, that stare that he gets when he's really fired up, there's a focus inside of that that's as intense as anyone else's. I'm worried that if things start going south for them, they start looking at each other like that.
Yeah, I mean, I always go back to my guy Easy when I think of Tanner and the pairing. Like, Easy was the, I guess, comedic relief in a way. He was a way to break that tension. I don't know if there's anyone between Tanner, Jacob, and Kat that's going to break the tension. It's going to bad.
By the way, calling a Tanner match with Kat is everyone should do it. And she says that she was only looking in that direction because she wanted to see the board that he was throwing to. Half of that is true. The other half is she did not want to look in his eye. I mean, you could just tell it's fun. And me, I'm an ass. So I loved every second of it.
Every time Kat touches her forehead and scrunches her forehead, we got to do a shot. All right, number 4 on my list. Again, man, just the theme for me today is FOMO. I missed out on the Ethan Walker, Alec Ryan show. I believe it was Tiverton. Ethan Walker's roll game was back on. It was amazing to watch. A little bit I got to see. Alec Ryan, you know why you're on this list. I hate you for it. Threw a perfect game against me. Came back and threw a perfect game against Jeremiah Ellis. I mean, he was on fire in Myrtle Beach. They've had success without the other person as well. I mean, I want to see them back together and just going at it. So,
look, I got to tell you, Ethan Walker, for me, smartest person on this list, and I'll tell you why. Came up to me in Myrtle Beach and told me that it took him a long time to get into it, and he wasn't really sold on it at the beginning, but now he always listens or watches Borderline. So, obviously, smartest guy in the room.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think Alec Ryan is going to be begging me to go live on the K9 unit.
I thought it was a great – what those? Yeah. Sorry, man.
Both of those perfect games were on my live feeds. against me.
Nice. But wasn't last weekend what we thought we were going to get from Alec all last season in a way?
Yeah, I
Like,
mean, he started out hot and then kind of disappeared, but I think it's a different version of Alec this year.
word.
I really do. Number 5 on my list, Jeremy Schermerhorn and Anthony Mayball. So this is a new pairing for this season.
Mm-hmm.
Heading into the 2024 season, we obviously got to see what Schermerhorn and Neistat did last year, making a couple of broadcasts in doubles. But Schermerhorn and Neistat decided to separate. They're still friends. Tony Mayball, familiar with Jeremy Schermerhorn. We had them on our show as they announced their partnership, but I'm not sure if the chemistry is going to be there. I want to see how they go. I think Tony's a little bit more mellow. What got Schermerhorn going was kind of joking around and playing loose.
Yeah.
I don't see that out of Tony, so I want to see how they interact with each other. I don't know if we've seen them play together or not. But I'm curious to see. I mean, last I heard they were still looking for a bag sponsor. So, or actually, no, they got one. I think they're throwing with Siva. So now that they got the bag sponsorship out of the way, it's down to business. Tony and I used to talk quite a bit, so I want to see if him and Schermerhorn click on the courts.
I love watching Jeremy play. I wish they would have gotten more serious as they got later into tournaments.
Yeah,
I think the joking helped, right? Eased the tension. I think it got them through, especially early in the season, some tournaments. I think it hurt them late. Yeah. Right? It's super hard to focus when you're laughing off mistakes. And I get why you're doing it. It's a facade. You're not really laughing about it. You're completely upset inside. But sometimes, yeah, but let that go, right? Because you're still holding that. If you're laughing and doing all this about it, you're still angry in here.
All right.
That's psychology 101, kids. Let it go.
Go back to the hotel and cry in your pillow. We all know. We all know the truth.
I mean, should I take you through the story of the buffalo, Wally?
Oh, okay.
Buffalo.
We got time. We got 5 minutes.
We got 5 minutes to kill. So otherwise, I wouldn't do this. Buffaloes always face and walk into a storm, Wally, because that's the quickest way through a storm. You can run and hide, but the storm will still be there. Be the buffalo, Jeremy. Be the buffalo.
I hope he shows up wearing like a Flintstones buffalo.
Right? That would be awesome. The order of the buffalo.
No. Yeah, I don't know where to follow up with that. I'm just gonna randomly go into my honorable mentions here.
Sorry, I had to do it. I saw that we were 5 minutes short. I had to do it.
No, I was gonna fill the time with my honorable mentions here. So players that I wanted to watch, I had them on my list. I mean, Mark and Tony, gets kind of boring to put them on the list every single time, but they've been kind of experimenting with different players. This is our first chance to look at Tony Smith this year if he's done with Mark. I think everybody across the board pretty much has Mark Richards as the number one player on their list.
Mm-hmm.
Nico Morales and Tyler Poitras.
Yes.
Love what I saw out of Nico and Myrtle. Mm-hmm. Had a good chance to hang out with him and Mark for New Year's. Tyler Poitras.
Hey, do you like the band?
I wish we went downstairs. The band was upstairs. It wasn't that bad, but
it's a party band. It's nothing special, but yeah, I've seen them a couple times here in Wilmington.
Yeah, it was a good time. Yeah, Riptides. Shout out to them. I had a blast out there. Might be some video of me breakdancing and dancing in a bar.
No, sir. I got to see that.
Yeah. Sebastian Schaefer-Ford and Cole Brewer on my list. I believe Sebastian Schaefer-Ford got called up to the Chicagoland Spinner squad. So congratulations to him. Cole Brewer with a little chip on his shoulder, finished in second place. Angel Camarena and Colby Shearer. We've talked about them plenty of times. Yeah. Good to see them. I guess it's still kind of East Coast, but I want to see them travel a little bit more. Mason Trader and Isabella Soprenet. Interesting pairing this weekend. Yep. Isabella, you know what she can do. Mason Trader trying to make a name for himself. I believe he also got called up to the Chicagoland Spinners again. I saw him play this weekend. His skill set's there. He's right up there with Ryan Trader. The mental game knows what's falling a little bit behind. So I want to see if Mason Trader can get it all together. They're twins.
Oh, well, there you go. Yeah. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So whenever they play against each other, though, Ryan doesn't talk, but he beats him with skill and just laughs.
Which is the worst.
Yeah.
Which is the worst.
Yeah. So I don't know for a fact, but I think there's one moment where like Ryan's mom came up to Ryan because they were playing doubles together.
I bet. Oh, can you imagine?
She was like, "You need to encourage him" or something like that, and like Ryan was just kind of like,
"No way! There's no way." That's mom just not getting it right there.
Love seeing it. And then I want to give a shout out again to my boy. I give a shout out to him early in the season. He's going back for his second Open now. Zach Carlton He'll be thrown with Trish Hanks. Zach Carlton is the blind cornhole player who's
That's
going back for
that's
round
such a
2,
great
man.
story.
Yeah,
That's
he
such,
had such a
by
good.
the way, I've noticed some people that, like, these guys even watch, like, we can't say the same names all the time on this show, right? If we had the same 5 singles and the same 5 doubles every time, that would be awful.
Oh, I did have that too. Nate Stevens. And
I thought about that. It's Nate and damn it.
I know. I had him
My
written down.
brain.
Anthony, you're in the chat real quick. Who was it? Nate and who? I can't remember. I had it written down and I took it off.
Oh God! And it was the other. Oh God, my brain, man. I'm worried about it because they and Mason Trader and Bella. I thought about having. Is it Caden Allen?
No, I thought they would be partners this year, and it wasn't. Was Dean Norton? Is that it?
No, I don't think so.
Dean and Nate. I don't know.
I can't remember.
Either way. All right. Well, we're gonna have some fun no matter what. I'm gonna say Spooky Nook probably 47 times just on Friday.
I'm excited. I'm excited to watch that, actually.
Well, I'm excited. Jake Brandon's gonna be there with me the whole weekend. So I've been begging for it to be the K9 and Jake Brandon show, and this is what you guys are gonna get this weekend. So hopefully you guys enjoy the content. Hopefully we have the replay, TikTok, everything just works to perfection.
By the way, how much fun is TikTok to read the comments on?
It really is. Like I feel bad for Jake because the way we have our setup, like the TikTok is my monitor, so I get to enjoy all that and choose what I say because you know me, I read the chat all the time. So
this, by the way, cornhole chat, make sure you're watching on TikTok because they're more than half have never seen the sport. They don't know what's going on. They're blasting cornhole. Mm-hmm. It would be great if we had some cornhole heads in there, kind of firing back. It would make it so much more fun.
1v1 me, bro. All right, chat. That's it. Appreciate you guys all tuning in. Enjoy the rest of the college game. Bernie, I thank you, man. I know you didn't want to do it, but we did it. We serviced.
Yes, sir. We do what we do. Yes.
All right. Starting the year off right. All right, chat. See you guys.